Greetings. I'm Gerd Leonhard, Futurist in Zurich, Switzerland. I'll be involved with an event in Basel called the Good Future Forum. And as you may know, of course, a lot of my work in the past has circled around the good future. So I will be one of the keynote speakers there, and you can find out more about the event later in the URL below. I will be talking about the good future, and this is kind of a paradox today because a lot of people today don't actually believe in the good future. As we're looking at the world today, many people think that the future is bad. Climate change, we haven't really done much to fix this. Geopolitics is a mess. Going back to the past, artificial intelligence threatening to take most of our jobs. And the story goes on and on. So people talk really bad about the future. In fact, you could say the future has a bad reputation right now. And my speech will be about why we can actually hope for a good future, why the future is better than we think, how we can solve those large challenges we are facing right now, including dealing with climate change and the technological revolutions. There isn't much we can do about geopolitics at this very moment, but I will give an outlook on what I expect to happen in the next decade and why I think the good future is entirely possible. My speech will be specifically focused on the Gen Y millennial generation, roughly people from 25 to 40, who are currently in kind of a misery phase. It seems like nothing is really working, and there's a lot of confusion about what to do, what job to look for, how to educate yourself, and how to tackle the future. And so I'll be speaking about that quite a bit and hopefully give people a sort of a positive outlook on why the future could be good. We have a huge challenge right now, and that technology is running so fast that it's threatening to be out of control. Like especially artificial intelligence, it looks like we're going to reach general intelligence, which means a machine that can be as intelligent as all humans combined by 2030. And so currently innovation has a very economic viewpoint, like any innovation that promises new revenues and more power, like AI, technology, quantum computing, genome editing, and so on, is being swarmed with investment for the simple economic reason that it promises to make more money. In order for technology to be useful to humans, we need a reorientation towards a larger purpose, a larger agenda, the agenda of people, planet, purpose, and prosperity, and peace, of course. So I call it the 5 Ps. And this is now going through a tough period because a lot of countries are going backwards on this agenda, going back to the power agenda, and that's distorting the view of the future. But we are actually leaping towards a future where it's going to be more about a larger story, not just about one story. And this will be triggered by climate emergency, but also by what machines can do in terms of work. And this will be first a major challenge, and then will lead to a new renaissance, you could say, in the next 5 years. Sometimes you have a strong movement in the wrong direction, and then you have a backlash that brings the new direction forth. Every revolution has been like this. So now there's a reason for us to get busy because we're going backwards. We're going not to a future. And that triggers a lot of new relationships, a lot of new activities, a lot of new funding. And that's my hope. I think we can find that to be happening in the next 2 or 3 years. What worries me the most is that we get stuck in this loop of not pursuing a holistic future, but pursuing the good old-fashioned capitalism. Nothing wrong with capitalism per se, but a capitalism that is destructive and is extractive and not taking in all the pieces that we actually need. John F. Kennedy said in 1967 that GDP measures everything except for what is worthwhile to humans. And we're still doing that. And if we don't change our economic model as to what we want, then everything we do will fall short or will enslave us to technology. And this is the biggest worry I have, that we're not wise enough to change our economic paradigm to a more inclusive form of social capitalism, as Al Gore says, sustainable capitalism, or maybe we should bury that word altogether and pursue a different direction, whatever ism it will be in the end. Because one thing is for sure, we have more science and more tools to solve pretty much every practical problem. Water, food, electricity, communications, transport. We're inventing everything. But on the other hand, we don't have the telos, the wisdom, the purpose to collaborate, to work together. It's the most basic things we don't do. We don't work together. We use technology to divide us, like we have in social media. And so we have all the tech and the tools, but will we have the telos? That's my biggest concern. My biggest hope is that we can trigger that with events like this that will make people think about what kind of purpose we're pursuing. I think right now what we need is events that go into more holistic concerns and discussions. And these are not topics that are disconnected. The topic of peace is connected to the topic of people and planet. Like, how can we have peace when we're killing the planet? And everything is interconnected. And in the future, we need to develop this kind of global consciousness. And this is what this event is all about, a consciousness of peace and planet and purpose and prosperity, not just prosperity. In my generation, being the baby boomers of Gen X, moving out of power, this is happening in the next 5 to 10 years. And the next generation is the 25 to 45-year-olds, especially women, who are coming into a new power that will change absolutely everything. But we need to help that generation to get into the flow of making the right decisions and picking the right jobs and putting the money in the right places. And so these kind of events, I think, will be trigger moments for that to happen, to create awareness and also to create hope. Because there's a lot of hopelessness right now because we just can't do anything good. And to create hope that humans are capable of doing the right thing. So come and see us in Basel for this event, the Good Future event in Basel on August 14th, and to see you there.